She didn't knock, just stood in the doorway like the wind had blown her that far and stopped short. The ranch owner looked her over, hands empty, boots dry, no bag, no ring. She stared back, not defiant, not shy, just steady. He nodded once. "You know how to scrub floors." She said nothing. "Fine, third door on the left. You sleep there. Don't touch the girl, don't ask about my wife, don't speak to the sheriff if he shows up." Still nothing. "You understand me?" She blinked slowly, turned, and walked in. The place smelled like boiled potatoes and old wood, the kind of rot that wasn't mold, but memory. She ran a hand along the hall wall, thumb dragging like she was reading Braille. He followed behind her for a step too long. "You work, that's all," he said. She kept walking. When the girl appeared at the top of the stairs, thin arms hanging loose, pale eyes rimmed red, the woman looked up but didn't smile. The girl didn't blink. She whispered, "Mama said you were dead." The rancher growled her name. She disappeared like she'd never been there. In the back, the kitchen buzzed with flies that moved like they owned the place. The stove was off. The sink rusted at the seams. A cracked window let in dust and voices from far-off cattle. The housekeeper took a chipped cup from the counter, turned it once in her hand, then filled it with water from the pump by the back door. She drank, slow and deliberate, then walked out barefoot toward the well. No one saw her, not the men mending fences, not the girl watching from the attic slit, not even the dog tied under the porch, who whined low when she passed. She moved like someone who'd walked this route before, even though they all swore she hadn't. The well sat at the edge of the grazing line, where the ground turned soft and the grass didn't grow right. The wood cover was dry rotted and pitted with sun. She pulled it off and stared down like she expected to see a face. Then she leaned in, spit, and watched it fall. The ranch owner found her kneeling by the firewood stack an hour later, sleeves rolled, hands already raw. "Don't go back there," he said. She didn't answer. "The well's gone dry anyway. You hear me?" She looked up. "Yes," she said. It was the first word she'd spoken since stepping onto the property. He flinched like he hadn't expected her to sound like that. Low, flat, almost kind. "The girl's got medicine at noon. You bring it. Leave it. Don't talk to her. She's not well." The woman nodded. "She dreams things," he added. "Things that ain't true." The housekeeper said nothing. Later the girl came down for water, bare feet silent on the stairs. She watched the woman scrub the counter with coarse salt. "Did Mama send you?" The woman didn't pause. "No," she said. "Then why'd you come?" The housekeeper wrung out the rag and stared at the streaked wood. "Because they let me." The girl sat on the floor, knees tucked. "You look like someone I drew once." The woman didn't look at her. "You shouldn't draw strangers." "You're not a stranger," the girl said. "You're what comes after." That night, the air felt like it was holding its breath. The wind cut wrong, slipping through the barn slats like whispers. A horse kicked in its stall. A pan clattered from the empty kitchen. The woman didn't flinch. She sat on the edge of the bed, fingers folded tight, like waiting was something sacred. The girl knocked once on her door before being yanked back by her father. "She's not here for you," he barked. "She's here to keep things clean." The housekeeper closed her door slowly. No lock turned. At dawn, the rancher found her already outside, pulling nails from warped fence boards with bare hands. "You could have used the hammer." She shrugged. "Didn't see one." "They're all right there." He pointed. She didn't look. "You from around here?" She stared past him. "Not anymore." He smirked. "That means you were." She didn't answer. "You come from one of those places full of women and rules?" She stood. "I came from fire." "Is that supposed to scare me?" he said. "No," she said, brushing her hands off. "It didn't scare me either." The sheriff's truck rolled up just before noon. Dust kicked but didn't settle. He didn't knock, just walked straight in like always. "Heard you hired someone," he said, voice echoing off walls that didn't like visitors. The rancher nodded. "Quiet type. Work hard." The sheriff narrowed his eyes. "Name?" "Didn't ask." "You didn't ask her name." "Don't need a name to mop a floor." The sheriff took off his hat. "You always were bad at seeing trouble before it walked in your front door." The girl peeked from the stairs. The woman watched from the kitchen, unseen. That night, after dishes and silence, the woman went back to the well. She stood there a long time, not looking down, just standing. The wind was still. The air didn't move. When she turned, the girl was behind her, shivering in a night dress too thin. "You spit in it," the girl said. The woman tilted her head. "You saw?" "No," the girl said, "but it told me." "You shouldn't come out alone." "Neither should you," the girl said. "He buried something in it." "What?" The girl shook her head. "I don't think it was a what." The woman knelt, placing a hand on the stone rim. Her face was unreadable. The girl reached out, touched her shoulder. "I'm not scared," she whispered. "I know," the woman said. "That's what worries me." From the porch, the rancher shouted the girl's name. The woman stood between them just for a second, then stepped aside. The girl ran back. The rancher stared at the housekeeper, something ugly moving behind his eyes. "You stay in your place," he said. She turned her back to him. "I don't have one," she said. The next morning, the water in the kitchen ran red for exactly 3 seconds. No one said anything, but the woman smiled. Just once. Here is the full cinematic script for. She'd just finished scrubbing the porch when he stepped outside, cigarette unlit, but clamped between his teeth like a threat. "You slept in late," he said. She didn't turn. 4:30's late now." He walked past her, flicking the match before speaking. "On my land. Anything I say is true." She kept wiping down the railing. He leaned close. "You're not paid to ask questions. You're not paid to notice things. You're not paid to look at her, talk to her, or give her ideas." She wrung the rag dry and dropped it into the tin bucket. "What kind of ideas?" He narrowed his eyes. "The kind that makes her think she's got a way out." The girl sat at the kitchen table later that morning, turning a fork in slow circles on the wood. The housekeeper laid down a plate of eggs, plain and steaming. "I don't like eggs," the girl whispered. "That's all they had." "You could have made biscuits." "Didn't find flour." "You didn't look." The housekeeper sat down across from her. "I don't chase ghosts in someone else's pantry." The girl tilted her head. "Is that what I am?" The woman didn't answer. The rancher came in a minute later, boots heavy. "Did I say you could sit?" he asked the housekeeper. She stood slowly. The girl wanted company. "She's had enough of that from strangers. You work. You don't linger." The girl didn't look at him. "She's not a stranger," she said. "She's the one who spat in the well." His jaw locked. The housekeeper didn't flinch. "Go upstairs," he told the girl. "Now." She slid off the chair, but paused at the doorway. "I saw it," she said. "It was like you weren't scared of anything." Then she disappeared up the stairs. He waited until the footsteps stopped. "You want to keep working here?" he asked. "Depends on the work." "Then here's your job. Don't talk to my daughter. Don't sit at my table. And don't give her ideas about the world being any bigger than this house." "She already knows," the woman said. "Not from me. She's sick. You understand that?" "So are you," the woman replied. His hand moved like it wanted to rise, but didn't. "You'll keep your mouth shut, or I'll find someone who will." She stepped forward. "Try." Outside, the sun was sharp and flat, the kind that makes shadows look like cuts. The woman worked the pump and filled a basin, scrubbed the stairs with stiff bristles until the wood bled gray. Inside, the girl was watching through the lace curtain. She didn't blink. The woman looked up once. Their eyes met for less than a breath. But it was enough. That night, the house went still early. The girl's light stayed on longer than it should have. The housekeeper walked past the door slowly. She heard whispering, not voices, not speech, just the soft thrum of words being shaped. She didn't knock. She just stood there, listening. Then, finally, she spoke. "You can ask me if you need something." Silence. "I don't need anything," the girl said from behind the door. "Then ask anyway," the woman replied. "Why do you look sad?" The girl asked. "Because I was born honest," she said. The girl whispered, "Me too." In the morning, the man was already in the field. The housekeeper made tea quietly. The girl came down barefoot. Her eyes were swollen, not from sleep. "He says you were in prison. He says a lot of things. Is it true?" "I did time." "What for?" The woman stirred her cup. "Killing something that couldn't die." "Did it scream?" "Number, that's how I knew it was real." The girl nodded. "I don't think I'm supposed to talk to you." "You're not." But I think you're the only person here who still tells the truth." The woman smiled. "That's how you get killed out here." From the window, they saw him coming back, dust around his boots, face sharp from sun and suspicion. "You better go," the woman said. The girl stood still. "I don't like hiding." "It's not hiding, it's surviving." The girl looked her in the eye. "Then I don't think I want to survive." The woman looked away first. He entered without a word, looked at the girl, then at the woman. "You've been talking." "A little." The woman said. "What about?" "Ghosts. Survival." "Why is the flower locked up?" "You found the key?" "Didn't need one." "You picked the lock?" "No," she said. "I just asked the house." He stared at her too long. "Keep your stories to yourself." "They're not stories," she said. "Then they're worse," he muttered, walking out the back. The girl reached for the housekeeper's hand. The woman didn't pull away. "I think you were meant to come here," the girl whispered. "That doesn't mean I was invited," the woman replied. The scream came at 2:14 a.m. Not a child's cry, not a nightmare sound. This was deeper, raw, like something had broken open and tried to claw its way out. The housekeeper was already awake. She hadn't undressed, hadn't even unmade the bed. She moved fast but quiet, down the hall, up the narrow steps to the girl's room. The door was cracked. She didn't knock, just stepped inside. The girl sat upright in bed, drenched in sweat, breathing like she'd run through a fire. Her sheets were twisted around her legs, her nightgown soaked. The air smelled like copper and heat. The housekeeper didn't say a word. She walked to the far chair and sat down, hands on her knees, eyes steady. No comfort, no questions. The girl blinked hard. "It's still here." The housekeeper tilted her head. "The thing. With teeth." "What did it say?" "It didn't talk, just smiled. All gums." "Was it close?" "In the wall. Still." The girl nodded. "Behind me." The woman didn't look away. "It's not behind you now." "No, it's beside me." The girl swallowed. "You're not scared?" "I am," the woman said. "Just not what's in this room." Minutes passed, maybe longer. The girl's breaths slowed. The woman didn't move. "Do you believe in ghosts?" the girl asked. "Not the kind people talk about." "What kind then?" "The ones that stay quiet. The ones nobody buries, right?" "Like my mother?" "I don't know your mother." "Me neither." The fever broke around 3:30. The girl's forehead cooled. Her hair clung to her face. She reached for the blanket, then changed her mind. "You're not going to touch me, are you?" "No," the woman said. "Why not?" "You didn't ask." "I don't want to." "That's why." A silence settled, not empty, just thick, like the room had forgotten how to echo. The girl turned her head. "I heard him once say you weren't supposed to come here." "He's right." "Why'd you come anyway?" "Because someone like me doesn't get asked twice." "Did you come to protect me?" "No." "Did you come to kill him?" "Not yet." The girl blinked slowly. "You say things like you mean them." "I only say things I mean." "What happens when you lie?" "I don't. Ever. Not anymore." The wind scratched the window glass. The girl turned her face toward it. "I think something's buried under this house." "You think or you know?" "I hear it sometimes. Breathing." "Houses breathe." "This one doesn't. It wheezes." The woman looked toward the wall. "Then maybe it's not the house." At 4, the girl drifted, eyes open. Not asleep, not fully awake. The woman stayed in the chair. She didn't shift, didn't stretch. "You don't sleep much," the girl whispered. "No." "Why?" "Sleep is too soft." "You don't like soft?" "I don't trust it." Downstairs, a floorboard groaned, just one. The girl didn't flinch. "He checks on me sometimes, but only to make sure I'm still here." "Do you wish you weren't?" "Sometimes." "That's honest." "Does it make me bad?" "No." "Does it make me weak?" "Only if you stay." At 5, the horizon turned gray. The girl yawned. "If I die, will you stay in the room?" "Yes." "Even if I scream again?" "Especially then." "Will you bury me?" "I'd burn you," the woman said. "Why?" "So you don't get stuck." "Stuck where?" "Anywhere." The girl let her eyes close. "My mama used to sing." Before she stopped. "What happened?" She said the song turned sour in her throat. "What did it taste?" "Like blood and honey." The woman rose just before sunrise. I walked to the door and looked back once. The girl opened her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For not running." "I already ran once," the woman said. "This time I sit." The girl reached for something under her pillow, a folded paper. She handed it over. The woman didn't unfold it. "What is it?" "A map." "Where?" "I don't know yet." "Then why draw it?" "Because maybe you'll know when it matters." The housekeeper tucked it into her pocket. "Get some rest." "I don't sleep." "Try pretending." "I'm good at pretending." The woman left the room just as the light touched the hallway. Her boots made no sound on the steps. Downstairs, the water in the kitchen was running on its own again. The truck pulled up slowly, tires cracking gravel like bones. The housekeeper was sweeping the front steps, rhythm calm, like she hadn't already felt him coming from 3 miles out. The sheriff got out without shutting the door behind him, hat in hand, eyes sweeping the porch like it might confess something. "Morning," he said. She didn't answer. Quiet type, huh? She kept sweeping. He stepped up one plank, boots leaving dry dust prints. "He in?" She nodded once toward the side barn. He stared at her a second longer than necessary. "You knew." She paused, brushed the dirt into a neat line. "Not anymore." He laughed, short and flat. "That right?" She didn't smile. Inside, the rancher was cleaning a shotgun that didn't need cleaning. The sheriff leaned on the doorframe. "Hired help?" "Yeah," the rancher muttered, still focused on the cloth. "She does her job." "What's her name?" "It doesn't matter." "I think it might." The rancher set the gun down slowly. "She cleans. She cooks. She stays out the way. What else do you need?" "You file the paperwork?" "Didn't know I needed to." The sheriff raised an eyebrow. "You're telling me a stranger shows up on your land and you don't ask for a name, no ID, no past?" "She came recommended." "By who?" A pause. The rancher poured himself a drink he didn't want. "Doesn't matter." The sheriff stepped in now, voice low. "That woman's not on record anywhere. No license, no past jobs, no local reference. You know what that means?" The rancher looked up. "Means she's clean. Or dangerous." "She's both." The housekeeper stood in the hallway just outside the light, listening. The girl was behind her, quiet as breath. "He's lying," the girl whispered. "I know." "You gonna stop him?" "No." "Why not?" "Because the truth doesn't work on men like him." The sheriff stepped out of the house a minute later, walked right past the housekeeper without a glance, but stopped just before reaching the porch. "Have you ever worked up north?" he asked, not turning around. "No," she said. "Are you sure about that?" "Yes." "You got papers?" "No." "Is that a problem?" "Not for me." He looked back at her. "I'll be back." "I know." The girl watched from the window, hands pressed to the glass. "He's scared of you," she whispered. "No," the woman said. "He's scared of what I remind him of. The rancher came out after sunset, lit a cigarette, didn't inhale. What did you tell him?" "Nothing." "Good. Why are you scared of him?" "I'm not." "Then why lie?" He blew smoke sideways. "Some lies are safer." "Not for me." "You want to keep working here, you stay out of that." "Out of what?" "Out of history." She nodded. "That's not where I live." That night, the girl came down the stairs barefoot, holding a folder. She handed it to the housekeeper. Inside, old school forms, birth records, doctor's notes, her own, all redacted, all clipped. "He keeps these in the attic," she said. "What made you look?" "I had a dream that I was someone else." The woman flipped through the pages. One name, half erased. One signature, familiar. "You knew my mother, didn't you?" "Yes." "Were you friends?" "No." "Enemies?" "No." "Then what?" "I watched her die." The girl didn't blink. "Did he kill her?" "Does it matter?" "Yes." "Then yes." Upstairs, the rancher coughed in his sleep. The floor creaked under nothing. The woman folded the file shut. "Hide this." "Where?" "Where he won't look." "That place doesn't exist." "Then burn it." The girl clutched it to her chest. "Will you still be here in the morning?" "Yes." "Even if the sheriff comes back?" "Especially then." In the dark, the house whispered things no one said out loud. The girl didn't come down for breakfast. The rancher didn't notice. He was outside, shouting at the barn roof for sagging like a drunk spine. The housekeeper noticed. She always noticed. The milk pitcher was still cold, untouched. The mug was dry. The chair sat too straight, pushed all the way in. She went upstairs. Knocked once. No answer. The door wasn't locked, just leaned shut like it wanted to be left alone. The girl sat on the floor, legs crossed, head bent. Her hair stuck to her temples like she'd been sweating secrets. She looked up when the woman entered. Didn't smile. "Have you ever killed someone?" the girl asked. The housekeeper didn't sit. "Yes." "Did they scream?" "No." "Did they bleed?" "Yes." The girl went back to her drawing. "Do you think I could?" "Could what?" "Kill someone." The woman studied her. "Not yet." The girl shrugged. "Then I'll keep practicing." She held up the picture, crayon on the back of a torn envelope, red scribbled like lightning, a figure in black, knife in one hand, someone at her feet. "It's me," the girl said. "But older." "No." The woman said. "It's me." The girl stared at her. "I didn't draw your face." "You didn't need to." She folded the paper and shoved it under the bed. "He'd burn it if he saw." "I know." "You won't tell him?" "No." "You'd lie for me?" "No." "Then what?" "I'd kill for you." The girl smiled just once. That evening, the rancher found the housekeeper on the back steps, scrubbing a rusted pan like it had offended her. "She's been quiet," he said. "She's tired." "From what?" "Dreaming." He lit a match. "Let it burn down." "You've been talking to her?" "She talks. I listen." "I told you not to fill her head." "I haven't." "She said she sees things. Said you showed her drawings." "She draws on her own." "She said you were in them." The woman kept scrubbing. "She's imagining things." "She's remembering things." "She's sick." "She's right." He stepped closer. "Don't test me." "I already did." He stared at her, jaw tight, eyes black. "You're not family. You're not staff. You're not even real on paper." She stood up. "Neither is she." He turned and walked away, boots loud on gravel. That night, the girl whispered through her bedroom floor vent. "Do you think I'm crazy?" The woman answered from her room below. "No." "Then why do they say it?" "Because you see what they don't." "I saw her die." "Your mother?" "Number the woman before you." The woman sat up in bed. "What did she look like?" "Thin, pale, hair like corn silk left too long in water." "What happened?" "She came into my room one night and said she was sorry." "For what?" "She never said. But in the morning, she was gone." "Gone where?" "They said she left, but the dog wouldn't stop scratching at the well for days." The housekeeper got up, opened her door, climbed the stairs without sound. The girl was waiting. "I don't think I'll sleep," she whispered. "I don't think you should." She pulled the paper out again, unfolded it carefully. "Hold it like something sacred." "I don't remember drawing it," she said, "but I remember seeing it." "Where?" "In my head." The housekeeper knelt. "Look at the image." The knife was thick, not a kitchen blade, not for food, for something else. The figure's eyes weren't drawn, just black circles, empty. "I think she wanted to be seen," the girl said, "and I drew you instead." The woman touched the edge of the paper. "That's how ghosts work." "Are you a ghost?" "No." "Are you going to become one?" "Only if I fail." "At what?" "Ending this." The girl folded the paper again. "Slide it back under the bed." "Then don't fail." "I don't plan to." She stood. The girl crawled back under her blanket. The room felt colder than before. The house groaned as if listening. The picture stayed hidden, but not forgotten. She brought it down wrapped in silence. No fanfare, no explanation. Just stood in the kitchen doorway with a sackcloth bundle cradled like a dead bird. The housekeeper stopped peeling potatoes. The girl placed it on the table, unfolded the cloth. The metal caught light like it remembered being important. "You know what that is?" the girl asked. The housekeeper nodded. "I found it under the house." The woman looked up. "How?" "I crawled through the vent." "Why?" "I heard something." "What?" "Breathing." The housekeeper stared at the badge. The number was scratched, nameplate bent, a small brown smear across the back edge. "He's missing," the girl whispered. "The deputy." The woman waited. "They said he quit," the girl added. "People say things." "I don't think he quit." "I don't either." The girl sat. "Should I have left it there?" "No." "Should I bury it?" "Not yet." They stared at it together. Like it might speak. By the time the rancher came in for supper, the badge was already in the bread box, covered by a dish towel, next to 3 stale rolls. The woman didn't mention it, neither did the girl, but she watched him eat like she was waiting for something to catch in his throat. Halfway through the meal, he looked up. "Why are you both staring?" The woman said, "We're not. You're too quiet." "You like quiet." "Not this kind." The girl smiled. "Maybe you're just guilty." He laughed sharply. "Of what?" The girl didn't answer. After dinner, the housekeeper stayed behind to clean. The girl wandered to the porch, staring down at the vent she'd crawled through. The wood around it was cracked, the screen bent inward. The woman joined her. "What else is under there?" "I don't know." "Bones?" "Maybe." "Voices?" "Definitely." "Yours or someone else's?" "I think they were mine first." The woman knelt beside the vent, put her hand near the opening. Cold air flowed out, not in. "Did it pull you in?" "No," the girl said. "It asked." "Asked what?" "If I was ready." The woman stood. "Are you?" "No." "That's good." The sheriff showed up again the next day, said it was just a check-in, said he was looking for a lost dog, said it with his hand on his hip. The housekeeper met him at the door. He sniffed the air. "You baking?" "No." "Smells like bread." "There isn't any." He stepped inside anyway. The girl sat at the table drawing. Same envelope scrap, same thick lines. The sheriff glanced down. "That me?" She didn't look up. "Yeah, no. Looks like me." "It's not." "Where's your daddy?" "Barn." The sheriff turned to the housekeeper. "Is he still not paying you legally?" She didn't respond. "Have you ever thought about going into town, filing a complaint?" "Would it matter?" He smiled. "Probably not." She crossed her arms. "Then no." He wandered toward the kitchen. The girl dropped her crayon. "There's nothing in the bread box," she said too fast. The sheriff froze. "I didn't ask about the bread box," he said. "Still, there's nothing in it." The housekeeper stepped forward. "She's been nervous lately. Dreams." "Uh-huh," he said, walking straight to it. He lifted the lid, paused, took out the towel. I looked at the badge. "Where'd you find this?" The woman said, "Back of the pantry." The girl stared at her. He turned it over in his hand. This was his. "I figured." "Funny," he muttered. "He went missing 2 years ago. Never found a trace. Maybe he didn't want to be found. Maybe he couldn't be." He studied the girl. "You've been crawling under this place?" "No." He leaned closer. "You sure?" She didn't blink. "Not under. Just near." The woman stepped in. "She's telling the truth." He gave her a long look. "You'd lie for her?" "I don't lie. You just hide things. If they need hiding." He slipped the badge into his coat pocket. "Don't worry. I'll return it to the station." "Is that where it belongs?" the woman asked. "Better there than here." "Why?" "Because here makes people disappear." He left without closing the door. The girl turned to the housekeeper. "Why did you lie?" "I didn't." "You said it was in the pantry." "It was, just not at first." "He's going to ask again." "I know." "What if he finds out?" "Then he'll stop asking." The girl picked up her drawing, added something. "What are you making now?" the woman asked. "Breadcrumbs," she said, "so I won't get lost next time." That night, the wind picked up. The house creaked in a way that sounded like footsteps, but slower, like someone dragging something behind them. The bread box stayed empty, but it still smelled like metal. It started with a cough, the kind that rattled from someone who'd smoked too long or seen too much. The ranch hand leaned on the fence post, handkerchief dark in his fist. The girl sat near the trough, flicking water with a stick. The housekeeper stood under the eaves, peeling apples like she meant to draw blood. "Have you ever worked in Eden's Point?" the ranch hand asked, voice rough. She didn't look up. "No." "You sure?" "I'd remember." He spat into the dirt. "They say it burned to ash. The whole courthouse. 3 others with it." "I heard that too," she said. "They say it was arson, never caught the one who did it. Most fires go unsolved. They say it was a woman." She looked up now. He blinked. "They say she walked away, right down Main Street, while the sky burned behind her. White boots, long braid. It looked like she was praying." The girl turned to look at the woman. The woman went back to peeling. The ranch hand chuckled. They say she had eyes like smoke, one gray, one brown. Yours are both gray, though. Not always, she said. He paused. What's that mean? She held up the knife. The apple skin is unbroken, spiraling. Some colors only show when the light's right. He stared too long. I worked cleanup after. The jail was still warm when I got there. They said the bodies couldn't be identified. Then they didn't look hard enough. He grinned. Maybe not. Or maybe they didn't want to. The girl whispered, Was it you? The woman didn't answer. That night, she found the girl in the pantry, sitting on a crate of canned peaches, reading a moldy almanac. You burned it, didn't you? The girl asked. Which part? All of it. Yes. Why? They asked me to testify. I didn't want to. So you destroyed it. Number One just reminded them it wasn't built to last. The girl folded the book shut. Was it true? What? What did they accuse you of? Some of it. And the rest. The rest was worse. She crouched beside her. You think I'm dangerous now? I think you always were. Scared. The girl shook her head. I'm not the one who needs to be. By morning, the wind had shifted. The scent of something charred moved in through the trees, though nothing had burned. The housekeeper walked the perimeter of the house with a tin bucket, collecting dead birds. 5 of them, all facing the same direction, none with marks. She buried them near the well. The rancher came out with his coffee. What's that for? They fell. Out the sky. Something like that. He watched her pile dirt over the last wing. You always bury things that drop dead? Yes. Why? They come back if you don't. He looked at her for a long while. They say you burned a town once. I heard. Are you planning to burn this one? Not yet. He chuckled, but it didn't reach his eyes. You tell the girl stories? No. She thinks you're some kind of angel of death. She's wrong. Then what are you? Cleanup. He drank his coffee. What were you doing in Eden's Point? Unfinished business. You finished it. I thought I did. He nodded. Then you're either brave or stupid. Maybe both. Inside, the girl opened a drawer that hadn't been opened in years, found a scorched ribbon. It still smelled like smoke. She didn't tell anyone, just tied it in her hair. Later, the ranch hand passed her near the barn. Does she ever say where she came from? No. The girl said, Good. Why? Because the truth gets you buried. Who buries the truth? Everyone who's still breathing. The girl walked away with the ribbon trailing behind her. The housekeeper saw it from the porch. That's not yours, she said. I found it. Still. Did it belong to her? Yes. What happened to her? She waited too long. To do what? Leave. The wind picked up, carried ash that wasn't real. That night, the woman found the girl with a matchbook. Have you ever started a fire? The girl asked. Yes. How's it feeling? Hot, fast, righteous. Even when it's wrong. Especially then. The girl struck a match, letting it burn down close to her thumb. Drop it into a bowl of water. He'd burn this house before he let us leave. Yes, the woman said. Then maybe we should beat him to it. The woman leaned in. Only if we're ready to walk through flames. I am, the girl said. Then wait. For what? For me to light it. Outside, the moon hung low. The air smelled like something old had been disturbed. Under the house, the breathing returned. By late afternoon, the girl was already shivering. Sun outside, sweat inside. Her breaths came shallow, and her hands wouldn't stop trembling. The rancher tossed a blanket over her and walked out to feed the horses like it was nothing more than a summer cold. The housekeeper stood in the doorway. Didn't follow. Didn't stop him. She knew what it meant when men refused to worry. It meant they'd already made peace with loss. By dusk, the girl couldn't lift her head. She muttered things in her sleep. Names that didn't belong to her. Sentences that didn't finish. Words that stuck like bone splinters in her throat. The woman wiped her forehead with a cool cloth that dried too fast. The girl reached up once, not to grab the cloth, but to touch the woman's wrist. She didn't say anything, just held on. The sheriff had come and gone that morning. Said the clinic's new nurse wouldn't drive out anymore. Not after last time. Not after the last one didn't come back. The rancher said they didn't need her anyway. Said the girl had been through worse. Said she was tough. The housekeeper didn't argue, just watched the girl fade into sweat-soaked sheets and heat that made the walls hum. The girl opened her eyes sometime after midnight, not wide, just enough. "Will you stay?" she whispered. "I'm already here." "No, I mean, stay. The housekeeper sat beside the bed. "Yes." The girl tried to smile but didn't have the strength. "You smell like firewood." "You smell like rain." The girl laughed once, weak. "That's a nice thing to say when someone's dying." "You're not dying." "How do you know?" "Because I haven't let go yet." Silence filled the room like steam, dense, full of things that wanted to rise but couldn't. "Will you hold me?" the girl asked. The woman froze, not out of fear, but because it had been a long time since someone had asked her for something tender without trying to steal it after. She didn't speak. She just leaned in, slid an arm under the girl's shoulders, pulled her close. The girl winced once, then settled. Her breathing slowed. Her head rested in the soft bend between the woman's neck and collarbone. "You're warm," the girl whispered. "I'm angry." "Is that the same?" "Sometimes." The girl coughed, sharp. Then again, she gripped the woman's sleeve. "I don't want to see her." "Who?" "My mother." "She's not here. She comes when I'm like this, just in the corner." "What does she want?" "To tell me it's my fault." "It's not. She said I cried too loud the night she died, that if I'd stayed quiet, he wouldn't have heard." The woman pulled the blanket higher. "You were a child. She says I was a curse. She was wrong." The girl went quiet. Her fingers curled tight in the woman's shirt. "Do you believe in curses?" she asked. "I used to." "And now?" "I think men made them up to keep women scared of themselves." "I'm not scared of myself." "That's what makes you dangerous." The girl tilted her head back. "Are you crying?" "No." "Are you lying?" "No." "I think you are." The woman closed her eyes. "Only a little." "I won't tell," the girl said. Outside, wind knocked against the shutters like fists that couldn't commit. The house groaned. The floorboards under the bed shifted. The girl sat up halfway. "There's someone under us." "No one's there." "I can hear them." "I know." "Do you?" "Yes." "Then who is it?" "Someone waiting." "For what?" "For the story to repeat." The girl collapsed into her arms again. "Then don't let it." "I won't." "You promise?" The woman hesitated. "No." "Why not?" "Because promises break." "But I don't." The girl finally slept. Not deep, not safe, but sleep all the same. The woman stayed like that, holding her like she was glass that needed warming. Her arm went numb. Her hip ached. But she didn't move. Not even when the rancher came upstairs. He stopped in the hallway, saw them, said nothing, just turned and walked back down. She didn't follow. By dawn, the girl's fever had dropped, not gone, but lower. She stirred, eyes half open. "You stayed." "I told you I would." "Did I say anything weird?" "You always say weird things." The girl smiled faintly. "Did I tell you a secret?" "Yes." "What was it?" "You're braver than anyone here." "I don't think that's a secret." "It is. Until you believe it." The girl sighed. "You held me like I was yours." "You held me first." They didn't say anything after that, but they didn't need to. The sun rose over a house that hadn't known warmth in years, and, for once, nothing burned. The first door she opened wasn't locked. It was swollen shut. Moisture had crept in long ago and sealed it from the inside, as if the wood itself had learned not to trust air. She used her shoulder. The frame groaned like it remembered screams. Dust poured out, not a gentle mist, but thick, clinging, heavy, like what rises from books long forgotten in barns that used to hold coffins. The room was small, no window, one shelf, 2 chairs, and a box. Inside the box, journals, 11 of them, unlabeled, covered in what looked like soot but didn't smell like smoke. She didn't take them downstairs. She read them sitting on the floor, legs stiff, spine straight, eyes dry. The first page of the first journal read. She spoke too loudly, so we quieted her. The ink was red, not metaphorical red, actual red. The house shifted above her. The girl was sleeping. The rancher was gone. The ranch hand hadn't come back. She read the second page. She looked them in the eyes. That was her second mistake. The rest was worse. Later she washed her hands, but the ink didn't come off. She burned one journal on the stove. Just one. As a test. The flame hissed. The chimney sucked the smoke too fast. When she opened the stove door again, the ashes spelled nothing. But they moved. She stored the rest under the loose floorboard near the stove. No one had walked there in years. She could tell by how the dust slept. The next morning, the girl stirred her tea without drinking. "The hallway smells different," she said. The housekeeper nodded. "I opened a room." "Which one?" "Left of the stairs." "That's not a room." "It was." "I thought it was bricked over." "Number just forgotten." "What was in it?" "Journals." The girl looked down. "Did she write them?" "No." "Then who?" "The men." The girl stopped stirring. "I don't think I want to read them." "You shouldn't." "Why not?" "They weren't meant for eyes. They were meant to hold weight." "Like chains?" "Yes." Later that day, the rancher noticed the door ajar. "Who opened that?" he asked. "I did," the housekeeper said. "That room's closed." "Not anymore." "I told you. You told me not to look her in the eyes. She looked first." He stepped forward. "You don't get to make choices here." "I just did." "You think this house belongs to you now?" "No," she said. "I think it never belonged to you either." He raised a hand, then lowered it. "That room stays. Shut from now on." "No," she said. "It stays open." That night, the wind returned, but it wasn't natural. It moved only down the hallway, never outside. It bent under doors and breathed beneath beds. It whispered through keyholes. And in the back pantry, a string of garlic rotted in a single hour. The girl found another box the next morning. Behind the water heater, smaller, metal, no lock. Inside, hair, braided, cut clean. She brought it to the housekeeper. "Is it hers?" the girl asked. "No," the woman said. "Then who?" "One of the ones before her." "How many?" "Too many." "What did they do?" "They survived long enough to be forgotten." The girl wrapped the braid in a towel, buried it under the old lemon tree. "Why there?" the housekeeper asked. "She told me to." The woman didn't argue. That evening, the girl asked, "Was the ranch ever a home?" "No," the woman said. "It was a performance." "For who?" "For the sheriff, for the papers, for the ones who needed a place like this to stay ugly." "What does that mean?" "It means they needed a ranch, but they built a tomb." The girl reached across the table, took the woman's hand. "What now?" "Now we keep opening." "How many doors?" "As many as they closed." Outside, the trees creaked without wind, and under the floorboards something turned over. The book wasn't hidden. It was just misremembered. Left in plain sight on the top shelf of the study, no one used anymore, behind a row of hollow Bibles and a broken clock that never ticked. The girl found it looking for a string. She pulled it down, dust trailing like it had held its breath for years. Thick leather, cracked spine. The word ledger etched in faded gold. She opened it slowly. It didn't creak. It groaned. Pages stuck like skin. The entries were methodical. Dates, cattle counts, wages, repair notes, names, dozens of names. Some circled, some crossed out. She turned to a page near the center. That's when she saw it. A name carved in ink that hadn't faded. Not handwritten, etched, underlined. Then violently erased, scratched until the paper tore, the fibers peeled, the ink bled through. But the imprint beneath remained, and the handwriting, though faint, was hers. Not the rancher's, not the sheriff's, not one of the men. It was the housekeeper's. The girl ran her fingers over the scratch marks, pressed lightly, closed her eyes, whispered the shape of the letters. Then she took the book and walked downstairs. The woman was peeling carrots. Same rhythm as always, controlled, clean, like she didn't remember what hands were capable of. "I found something," the girl said. "I know." "You knew I'd find it?" "Yes." "Why now?" "Because you're old enough to carry it." The girl placed the book on the table, opened to the torn page. "Is that your name?" "Yes." "You scratched it out?" "No." "Then who?" The woman looked up. "He did." The girl sat down. "Why?" "Because names carry power." "Then why not just burn it?" "Because even liars love ledgers. They like pretending the truth was counted." The girl stared at the mark. "What was it?" "My real name." "Tell me." The housekeeper hesitated. Miriam. The girl whispered it. Miriam, it means bitter water. Is that why you spit in the well? The woman paused. Maybe. Do you still use it? No. Why not? Because the last person who said it died. The girl swallowed. Did you kill them? No. But you wanted to. The woman looked her in the eyes. Yes. The wind knocked once on the window. Just once, like a warning or a greeting. The girl flipped the page. More names, all women, most crossed out. 2 circled. She pointed. Who are they? Before me. Do you remember them? No. Why not? Because remembering means they still hurt. The girl leaned in. Did this place kill them? No. Then who? This place lets them be killed. She closed the book. You kept writing in it after they stopped. Yes. Why? Because someone had to keep score. The girl looked around the kitchen. How many scores are left? Enough. They left the ledger on the table that night, open to the torn page. When the rancher came in, he paused. I looked at it. Didn't touch it. What's that doing here? The girl said, We found it. Should have stayed lost. Why? Because it's not yours. It's not yours either. He glared at the housekeeper. She made you think that? No. The girl said, You did. He slammed the book shut. Dust jumped. The girl didn't flinch. You want to explain why your name's in my ledger? He asked the woman. It's not. You think that's funny? No. I scratched it out for a reason. Yes, she said. Because you're a coward. He raised a hand. She didn't blink. The girl stepped between them. You don't get to touch her. He lowered his arm slowly. You're sick. No, she said. I'm finally awake. He left without another word. Later, the housekeeper opened the ledger again, smoothed the torn page. What does it mean? The girl asked. That the house remembers. Is that good? No. The next morning, the name had rewritten itself. Faint. Unclear. But there. Letters like bruises trying to spell something unburied. Miriam, the girl said. Yes. Can I say it again? Only if you mean it. I do. Then she did. And the stove hissed like it had been listening all night. The sheriff didn't bring his truck this time. He walked the whole way, dust on his boots, sweat soaked into the back of his collar, gun not on his belt, but tucked inside the back of his waistband like he wasn't sure who he'd have to shoot yet. The housekeeper saw him first from the porch. She didn't move, just watched him get smaller as he came closer. He didn't speak right away, just nodded once. Where's the girl? Asleep. Is she sick again? No. Shame. She crossed her arms. Why? Because she talks too much when she's well. The woman didn't answer. He looked toward the barn, then past it, where the windmill used to creak before it rusted shut. I went by the station yesterday. Badge you gave me? Still warm. You know what that means? No. Means it wasn't buried long. The girl's voice floated from the window. He wasn't buried at all. The sheriff's head snapped. Wasn't talking to you. Didn't ask, she replied. He looked back at the woman. You think this is funny? No. You think you're safe. I'm not stupid. You think that ledger means anything? It means you all kept records like fools. The girl appeared at the door, pale, steady. It means people have names again. He glared. I should drag both of you in. Let the town decide. There is no town, the woman said. Just men hiding behind each other's rot. He turned toward the well, stopped, tilted his head. You hear that? Yes, she said. I thought this place was dry. It was. He took slow steps toward it. How long? Since the name came back. That doesn't make sense. No, she said. But sense was never this house's business. The girl whispered, Don't touch it. The sheriff turned. It's water. It's not. He stepped closer. The wind stopped. The sun dimmed, not with clouds, with something else. The sheriff looked down. Water. Clear. Deep. Too deep. He reached for the pulley rope. The woman said, Don't. He didn't listen. Dropped the bucket. It never hit bottom. He turned. How deep is it? No one ever found out. A sound rose, low, not from the well, from below it, like remembering how to speak. The bucket came back up without being pulled. It hit the lip with a wet thud. Empty. but soaked. The sheriff looked inside. His face went pale. The girl asked, "What did you see?" He didn't speak. She asked again. Still nothing. Then he turned to leave, not fast, slow, like he didn't want to show fear. At the gate, he stopped. "You brought this back," he said. "No," the housekeeper replied. "It never left." He looked at the girl. "If she stays, you'll both drown." The girl stepped forward. "She's the only one who can swim." He left the way he came. No truck, no words, just the weight of something now awake. That night, the well bubbled. Once, the girl dreamt of eyes blinking in pairs. The housekeeper stood by the window until sunrise, hand on her name in the ledger, just in case. Chapter 12. She left holding the child, not the past. Summary. By dawn, the ranch is smoky. The daughter walks barefoot beside her. No one follows. Nothing remains but ash and silence. Word count, 1,300 exact. The fire started in the pantry, not by accident. It caught the walls like they remembered what it meant to be warm. The journals burned first, each one stacked like bone. The girl watched from the hallway, face lit by the first honest light the house had seen in years. The housekeeper stood behind her, matchbook in hand, thumb blistered from the strike. Smoke rose slowly, gracefully, as if it had waited too long to leave. "Will it work?" the girl asked. "Yes." "Will he come?" "Yes." "Will he stop us?" "No." The house creaked, not from heat, from memory. They had unsealed too much, touched too many doors. The walls had no more lies left in them, only screams that refused to echo. They didn't pack. There was nothing to save. No clothes, no keepsakes. The ledger's torn page was folded once, twice, and slipped into the housekeeper's coat. The girl clutched a stone she'd taken from under the floor, a smooth one, dark, warm from the night. She said, "It used to cry." The woman nodded. "It's dry now." The flames reached the ceiling. The housekeeper stepped back. She'd known it would happen fast. She counted the seconds between each crack of timber. She heard the first window shatter and knew that was their sign. They walked out the back, not rushed, not afraid, together. When the rancher pulled up, the house was already moaning. He jumped from the truck, eyes wide, mouth open, boots skidding in the gravel. "What the hell did you do?" The woman didn't answer. He ran to the porch, reached for the door. It collapsed before he touched it. He spun. "You insane bitch!" The girl stepped forward. "Number just done waiting." "You think anyone will believe you?" He yelled. The house cracked behind him. The chimney folded into the attic. "They don't have to," the woman said. "They'll say I was a victim." "You were," the girl said. "Once, but you chose not to stay one." He took a step toward her. The house groaned louder. "You touch her, and this land won't let you live to the next breath," the woman said. "You burned my home." "You never built one." He reached for something in his coat. The girl didn't flinch. The woman raised her hand. "Go ahead." "What?" "Try it." He hesitated. The wind caught his coat. Ash scattered around his feet like warnings. "You're not brave," the girl said. "No." The woman added, "You're just the last one left who still thinks he owns fear." Behind him, the well gurgled. He looked back. Water surged, then dropped. Fast, like it had just swallowed something whole. The girl said, "It doesn't want you either." He backed away, slipped, fell to one knee. "You're cursed," he hissed. "No," the woman said. "We're cleansed." She took the girl's hand. They turned and walked. He didn't follow, didn't speak, didn't scream. The fire took the porch, the roof, the north wall. The sky glowed gold, then black. They walked past the barn. The girl touched each post, soft, like saying goodbye. "Will anything survive?" she asked. No. Not even the dirt? Especially not the dirt. By the creek they stopped. The girl bent down, washing her hands. The water was cold. "Is it okay to feel clean?" she asked. "Yes." "Even when I know what we did?" "Yes." She dried her hands on her skirt. The housekeeper waited. The road ahead was flat, endless. The girl kicked off her shoes. "I want to feel the ground." "You'll cut your feet." "I already bled," she said. "Might as well remember it." They kept walking. The sun rose slowly. No birds called. Smoke lifted straight into the air. No wind to push it. By the time they reached the old mile marker, the house was gone. Just a pile of red ash and one chimney too stubborn to fall. The girl turned once. Then I looked away. The woman did not. She never did. They passed the old cemetery. 15 markers. Only 3 names. The girl asked, "Are you going to bury yours?" "No," the woman said. "I want people to speak it." Miriam: "Yes." "Do I have to keep mine?" "No." "What if I don't want a name at all?" "Then let the world give you one." "What if it's wrong?" "Correct it." The road curved near the church ruin. The girl paused. "What happened here?" "Same thing that happened everywhere else." They stopped listening. "To what?" "The women." They walked again. Silence stretched, but it wasn't empty. It was full, like a field just after planting. The girl asked, "Where are we going?" The woman said, "To the part where we don't have to explain." "Will there be people?" "Maybe." "Kind ones?" "Not all." "But enough?" The woman squeezed her hand. "Enough." They reached the edge of what used to be a fence line. The girl stepped over it. I looked back. I can't remember her voice anymore. "That's okay." "Is it?" "Yes." "Because it wasn't really hers." "No," the woman said, "because yours is louder now." She smiled. It was small, but real. The clouds moved for the first time. A soft wind picked up, carried the ash north. They kept walking, their shadows long behind them. The house was a myth now, a warning. The badge is a relic, the name in the ledger, reborn. And 2 girls, one older, one just beginning, left footprints. Across land that finally didn't fight them. One step, then another, until they disappeared into the place the fire had made room for.